So, like, one of the things that you're never supposed to do as a YouTuber, ever, is to go against your audience. And what I mean by this, it's fine if, you have like an argument with a person in the chat or with a person in the comment section. But when you notice that there's like a trend in the audience where like 10 or 20% of the people are telling you something and you go out of your way to contradict them, I don't think I've ever seen a YouTuber come out from that. Like, I've never seen them experience success due to that. Like, it's usually an uphill battle from there. Now, the thing with YouTubers is that usually there is a direct connection between how much money they're making and their audience. So, like, if you have a big audience, then the chances of people giving you super chats or people subscribing to your subscribe star increases. The algorithm pushes you more, like word of mouth carries your channel. So basically, YouTubers are invested directly into making sure that the people that watch them are happy. Actors, not so much, right? Like, the thing with actors is that they also theoretically get paid by how famous they are, by how many people like them, by how many people carry the word of mouth of the actor. But because there is like a third party, which is the studio, right? So you have like the studio positioning itself between the actor and the audience. Well, what ends up happening is that they forget that they're actually being paid by the customer. They forget that the real person that holds the wallet is the audience member. So what they do is like they start thinking that they can talk shit to the audience with no repercussions. And this is a bad move in my opinion, right? Like when you say something like this, right? Like in the case of the Hello guy, which I understand the controversy, and we're going to go into it in a little bit. There's nothing to win here. Like, there is nothing to gain. Like, you're just making sure that more people boycott your movie, and by boycott is a big word, but I mean, like, they choose not to watch it, than if you would have just shut the fuck up. So basically what's happening is that they stole an IP, legally speaking. I know, like, the word stole isn't correctly, but they took something that they didn't create, right? Like, someone else made something amazing, but because of how intellectual property is being passed away, you get some hacks, some talentless weirdos that now have the IP, right? So just because, like, you have it doesn't mean that you also are the person that built it. It doesn't mean that you are the person capable of carrying the torch. So these hacks, they have absolutely no respect for the IP. They look at it and it's like, oh, this is something that children like, right? Like, this soldier guy with the helmet. Oh, wow, does it come with lore attached? Who fucking cares? It's just like, we now that we have the IP, those kids that like it will pay us money. Like, that's how they view things. They view it as if, like, people are addicted to Halo, and it's like crack for them, and there is absolutely nothing that they can do that would change the story, that would convince the fans to drop it, right? So they take the fans for granted. They view as if when they purchase the IP, they purchase the fan base as well. And now they own the fan base. So what they're thinking is, like, any change that they make will only bring in new people. Like, the changes that they make to the IP will never get fans to drop them, but it will bring other people in. So one of the changes that they make is like, okay, well, let's have the guy without the helmet. Like, why does Master Chief, one of the most iconic characters in video games, having a helmet on all the time? Why can't he take it off, right? And the answer is, like, it's like the same like taking Darth Vader's helmet off. It's not the same character. I mean, sure, Darth Vader did take his helmet off for a couple of scenes to the end of Star Wars, but, like, if you were to make a new Star Wars movie and you'd have, like, Darth Vader without the mask all the time, and he looks like, the bald head, and it would be like a different character, right? And this is where the controversy is coming from. People are saying, it's like, well, if you wanted this IP, like, you could have picked any other IP, but you wanted this particular one. And not only that, you wanted to focus on Master Chief. Like, there was nothing stopping them from making something in the Halo universe and just focus on a soldier or focus on something else, and that would have even been a cooler story. That would have been amazing. But no, instead, they wanted to focus on Master Chief specifically, and they wanted him without a helmet. So now the fans are pointing out, like, what is this shit? You know, like, I want Halo. You're not giving me Halo. You're giving me something else. So now the actor is being antagonistic. And the first thing he does is he says, well, it's very difficult to portray emotion if you have your helmet on. And I'm like, well, how the fuck did the Power Rangers do it? Because I grew up with them, and, you know, they were really good actors. They managed to portray a lot of emotion by having helmets on. Moving back to Darth Vader, like, how did he manage to do it? That is the new Dread movie, not the one with Sylvester Stallone, which I pretty much didn't like. I wouldn't even consider it to be part of the Dread universe. But, like, the latest one, you know, like, he's got the helmet on all the time. So like, no, there's no justification, right? Like, when you come up and you say, well, you can't portray emotion if you have the helmet off. So if you have the helmet on, you can't portray emotion. What you're basically saying is that I can't do it. You're basically saying I, as an actor, do not know how to act. So that is, like, the problem that we have here, right? Like, you're basically trying to gaslight the audience, which the audience is not that stupid. Like, they watch other movies, they saw other people doing it. They're aware that this particular IP requires the main character to have a mask on because that's the trademark thing, right? So now he's going on, and it's like, well, if you don't agree with the helmet coming off, you don't like our show. It's like, well, no fucking shit, they don't like your show. I mean, this is what they're trying to tell you. And the thing is, like, the audience isn't telling it to you like, we want you to fail. They don't want you to fail. They want you to stick to the source material so that they can watch it. Alright? Like, when you purchase the IP, you didn't purchase the fan base. But if you were to keep the IP to the source material, you would get the fan base. That's what they're basically trying to say. That's what they're trying to explain to you. It's like, keep Halo, and we will watch it. And it will be popular. If you choose not to keep Halo, we will not watch it because we're not forced to watch it. And then it's going to be unpopular, and eventually you're going to be out of a job. And you're also going to have the bad rep of the actor that keeps talking against the fandom. This is what they're trying to convey. But no, like, we're not going to get that. So, instead, Pablo Schreiber is not interested in listening to critics who are unhappy with the series' decision to constantly depict the character without the helmet. And Schreiber offered his latest defense, saying that people who don't like the helmet was necessary to come off, that has such an early conception of what the show could be. It's like, yeah, but, like, first of all, no one like no one pressured you to make this show, right? Like, it's not like people went to this guy's house and were like, we want a Halo show, do a Halo show for us. No, it's not how it worked, right? Like, they said, we're going to make a Halo show. So obviously you're basically dog whistling to the fans. It's like, hey, we're making something, come watch it. And the fans are telling you, we would love to watch it, but you have to keep it to the source material. So now you're like, oh, well, actually. No, there is no actually. Right? You're not entitled to people's time and money. Like, now, people are willing to try and help you out. They're willing to explain to you why they're not watching it. But if you're not choosing to listen, I mean, sure, go ahead. You know, go broke, as they say. In order to examine the discrepancy between these two versions of the character, you can't tell the story without taking the helmet off. Then tell a different story. Tell a different story. If you can't tell it without taking the helmet off, tell a different... How the fuck did the games manage? How many titles are there and Halo always keeps the helmet on? The Master Chief, sorry, not Halo. Master Chief's always keeps the helmet on. Despite, like, so many sequels and so many different titles and iterations. And they're managing to tell so many stories. But, like, for some reason, you can't do it. Well, if you can't do it, then tell a different story. So, if you don't agree with the helmet coming off in the show, you don't like our show, so there's no point discussing it. Well, there is a point discussing it. I mean, they would probably like it if you chose to listen. It's not that fucking hard. It's not even that big of a request, to be honest. I don't understand, like, the obsession with keeping the helmet off. It's... so this is not the first show that Schreiber has stood behind the series' decision to have Chief feel the wind blow through his hair. Discussing the topic with Slav film Ryan Scott following the series world premiere in 2023. I always knew that the helmet off was going to be a big part of the show because, just quite frankly, is the only way to tell a story in long-form format television. Again, gaslighting. Like we already had The Mandalorian, which was very successful, and the Mandalorian had this helmet on the entire season. At no point did I thought, oh, you know what would be great if the Mandalorian takes off his... No. RoboCop? Like RoboCop, again, like RoboCop doesn't need to take off his helmet. You can have like RoboCop with the helmet on the entire time. And it's still just 10 out of 10. There's no need for him to take off his helmet. No, this is absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's just cope. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.